Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast brought to you by Kairos, previously known as TNP Mentorship Program. Today we bring to you a new series especially designed for students who are eagerly looking to kickstart their coding journey and to get ready to grabbing awesome opportunities.
The starting years of engineering can be very confusing, and hence we are here to help you out. Hi everyone, my name is Deekshita Verma. I am pursuing my BTech IT from IGDTW and I am an incoming intern at Google.
Hello everyone, I am Unnati Gupta. I am pursuing BTech in Information Technology from IGDTW and I'll be the incoming software engineer intern in Microsoft. So now we know since you have just started your journey in engineering, especially in CS and IT or related branches, we know there are some set of questions that students of first year and second year do struggle with. So we have curated such questions with us, and we would be addressing them today with you all. So let's quickly begin with all the questions that we have today.
So, starting with what language are we supposed to pick if we are coding? Unnati.
Yeah. So it's totally up to you, I would say. There are two languages that you can choose from. One is C++ and another Java. So it's like these will be useful when you are going up to, working on DSA and stuff, because in interviews, companies are expecting you to at least be proficient in any one of these two languages and be able to do DSA problems in them. So it's completely up to you what you prefer. For me, since I just started coding from college, uh, for me, Java and C++ were kind of equal. So I thought maybe Java would be a better language since it's more industry, driven, like more people in the industry are actually working with Java. So थोड़ा future का सोचते हुए, I chose Java as my language. What would you say about this, Deekshita?
Again, any of the languages that comfort you in comparison to C++ and Java, you can pick them up. I personally picked up C++ because I was coding in C++ since my 11th grade. So it was an easier option for me because I was very clear with my basics and I had started CP right before college itself. So that is why I decided to stick with C++.
So we have the second question here. So a big question that everybody wants to know about. Should we go for courses or like the online courses provided by different institutes, or should we do DSA on our own? What would you say, Deekshita?
I personally did both of them. I initially started myself because I had already known basics. So I thought I would be able to do it by myself, but I was not able to maintain fixed routines and understand each concept by myself. So that's when I decided to switch up to a course because that gives you a little bit of a dunda on your head that you have to finish this much of work in this much time. And that is why I preferred a course personally because I am someone who needs a proper supervision while doing something. What about you?
So for me, it was overall better to choose doing my DSA online through the internet rather than going for a coaching or institute where I'm not even sure if I'll be able to concentrate very well. Since I'm more of there are days when you don't, you're not able to concentrate on your work, and there are days when you're like at high concentration level and you're able to do 5 to 6 questions in a single row. So in that sense, I knew there will be days when I'm not in a mood to study in the meetings, in the sessions. So I wanted things to be in my pace, how I prefer. So doing, working on my own through online resources was far easier for me. So that these are the reasons that I chose online resources. And when I started doing it on my own, it took some time, but slowly and steadily I was able to, work it out, and I was able to concentrate very well with that and became very comfortable with doing it on my own pace.
So, be it a self-paced course or taking online resources or having a live class, each of them require a certain amount of time, a certain amount of hours that we give into practice. What do you recommend are the very specific time that we need to dedicate towards something?
So it's like totally up to you what you feel is works for you in your time schedule, what you can spare out. But honestly, I would say that at least try to do two questions per day. I know there will be difficulty in doing so. Like there are days when you're very busy, there are days when you're like completely free, there are days when you can concentrate, and there are days you cannot concentrate. So, like, I cannot assure that you cannot assure yourself that you're gonna take out 2 hours, like time 2 hours or 3 hours every day to work it out. So I would say try to just focus on two questions. If you're very busy, just try to do two easier questions. If you have a lot of time, go for two more difficult side questions, and just to create some consistency, at least do two set of questions per day. And if you're able to take out more time, then obviously go far more than two. Like go for 5 to 6 questions, as many as you feel like. What do you say, Dikshita?
Right. Being consistent is very important. And I feel like everyone has a different level of competence. So there will be people who will take an hour to complete two questions, and there will be people who will take 2 hours to complete two questions. And that is totally okay, what your pace is, unless and until you are actually being consistent. That's all that matters. And, I feel like there are people who can work for 18 hours in a day, and then there are people who are able to work only 12 hours a day. But that doesn't mean the 12-hour person is less. So don't concentrate on the amount of time that you're giving into it. Concentrate on the amount of work that you're doing in a day. You might be able to complete a lot of work in 12 hours, and the other person might not be able to complete that in 18. So don't compare the time with your seniors, with your peers. Just focus on the amount of work that you're putting into. Personally, I used to do at least 5 questions in a day. That is what I made a goal for myself. Ki kuch bhi ho jaye, 5 questions I have to do. I have to somehow take time out for it. And that is how it helped me, because I was very consistent on it. But also, those 5 questions should not be easy level questions. They should be at a good level, so that you are consistent as well as are putting a good amount of hard work in.
So we have the next question over here, which is like, especially for people who want to, start on their own. So that is online resources. What online resources should we go with? What are the available online resources? Do you want to say something on this?
So I personally did a course. So basically, all of the material was provided to me by that particular company from where I was doing the course. But after finishing it, there are times when I have to revise certain topics. So at that time, I go back to a YouTube channel called Apna College, and one of our seniors made a course over there for DSA. So I keep going back to it because the explanations are very good over there. So that is what I use. And Unnati, you've done everything yourself. So you might have a lot of content for the online resources.
Yeah, I do have a lot of things in my mind. So the how I started DSA was while I was just moving around finding resources online. I had this session by Pep Coding where they introduced themselves to us. So they talked about the online resources that they have on their website. So I thought, why not give it a try? I went through the questions. I saw, since I had a basic idea of what kind of questions, people are actually doing, like from Lean In, the society that we have in IGDTW, from my friends. And I used to hear some set of questions, and I knew these were some important set of questions. So when I saw the list, and I was able to figure out, oh, these are the questions, like it has all the questions that I've ever heard about. So I was like, this seems like a very good resource, very good thing. So when I started doing questions, it is very like great, since there is everything at a single platform. You have the video lecture to explain the question, you have the solution video lecture if you are more comfortable with videos, you have the direct solution as well if you are more comfortable with just reading through the solution. Then you have the compiler by your side, the question over there, the test cases, everything at a single platform. So like it is very easy to study through the entire material, and like each and every question important to you is compiled at a single place. So if you want to start with DSA, I would highly recommend to go to the pep coding resources once. Also, I'll say that it's more it's more fun for Java people and not that much for C++, since there are some set of questions which have some predefined driver code which is provided for Java but not for C++. So my C++ friends have struggled with it a little bit. So yeah, if you're going for Java, then I'll highly recommend it. Now, other than that, what you can do is go to GFG, that's Geeks for Geeks, if you have heard of it. Then there is Gleet Code, very famous platform. These platforms will help you in developing and your coding skills and for good practices. Other than that, if you're preparing for your interviews, go to Interview Bit. They have like some course related, they have curated some material for studying for your core subjects as well. So, which will be very helpful. And I guess I've covered most of it. If you are aiming for a particular company, then I would highly suggest go to the archive questions of GFG. They will be very helpful to crack that particular company, because you'll see that the trend is for that particular company, the trend of questions, you'll know which topics they are focusing on, what data structures they are very focused about. You'll get to know from there. So yeah, I'll also recommend those archive questions. So yeah, that's all I would like to give you all.
So that brings us to our next question. Unnati, as you mentioned about core subjects, a lot of people are curious if core subjects and college studies are important. Oh my gosh, yes, they are. You have to focus on your classes. There are certain very specific core subjects which are very important. But on the other hand, somewhere down the line, every subject that you'll be studying throughout your first, second, third, fourth year, somewhere down the line will be useful in your career. So focus on your core subjects. A lot of them will be asked in your opportunities, a lot of them will be asked in your interviews, and a lot of them will be helpful when you are actually pursuing an internship or working as a software engineer, because that's what our teachers told us.
Yeah, I'll totally agree with that. I'll completely agree with you. And there's like certain core questions, core subjects that you really need to focus upon. These are DBMS, OS, and OOPS. These three subjects you should be very familiar with. Like you should know the basic concepts of these. And I would highly suggest, please attend your classes properly, because whatever they're gonna teach you in the class, that would be asked by your interviewer in your interviews. Even in your online test that we have before the interviews. So like be very familiar with all those set of like all those subjects, be very proficient in them, and do go to different sites and try out the questions over there as well. You'll find that online. Adding on, there's one more thing you should be focused upon. Do try some aptitude questions, and there are some puzzles provided. So these puzzles and aptitude question may come in your online test or your interviews. So it will give you a like a brief idea about how which kind of questions can come up, and you'll have a little practice about that. So it might help you in your interviews and tests in overall. So yeah, do go for them as well, and be very focused about your core subjects and your online classes. Be very particular with them. Yeah. So moving further, we have the question, and this question is very, very known. Like everybody wants to know about it. Is CP important for placements?
Okay. So, there are people who have cracked placements, interviews, internships without doing CP, and that is totally possible. CP is a choice that if you want, you can do CP, and if you don't want to, you can completely ignore it. It's not necessary that you should be thorough with CP, and actually, nobody can be very much thorough with CP. So, one thing that is that CP gives you a lot of understanding on online contests. So, when we sat for our internship drive, we had to give online coding contest before sitting for interviews. So, during that contest, there were a lot of questions that helped me because I was thorough with CP, so I was able to do them faster. But when we talk about interviews, they want to know the deep understanding of the concepts. So initially, if you are thorough with your concepts, if you are thorough with your core subjects, that is a major priority, and CP comes to a second level. And it's not important for sitting for placements. It's something that you want to do yourself. Like if you might want to do development, you might want to start with different fields of development. Similarly, some people take up CP instead of development. So that is where it's important, just to have your ranks up on the coding sides or be faster at coding, and not for placements.
Yeah, I completely agree to Dikshita, and you can take Dikshita's word because she is someone who has been, doing CP for a very long time. So yeah, she has a very good experience, and obviously she has experience with internship and stuff, so she knows very well about everything here. But I am not very familiar with CP. But I do know that it had been a really helpful thing for people who were already doing CP for their online test. They were able to, get a better grasp on it. So yeah, it's really, really helpful when you go for some online tests. It's not like every online test will be CP based, but there could be some, companies that might go a little beyond the edge and, ask you a more difficult question since everything is online. They want to increase the difficulty level there. But it would be really great if you have, a little bit understanding of CP and you're a little bit familiar with it. But do focus more on DSA and your core subjects. Later, if you're done with both of these, then go for CP. I would really, really suggest that.
So that's it from our side. We hope we were able to help you with your questions and everything you need to know before starting your coding journey. In case you have any further questions, you can either let us know on our comments in the YouTube channel or DM it to us at kairos.igttw on Instagram. And that's it from our side. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.